Don't put yourself in front of a lot of people where you can get triggered and do some crazy shit that's going to get you in trouble. So what do you do when the person that you built your entire life around and your kids walk out and leave you without telling you? Well, the first thing is you come in and you see that note and a stone just falls into the pit of your stomach. If you're watching this, I'm guessing you've been through it or you're going through it right now. And I'm with you. I don't want to go back to that place again. That was the darkest of the dark and the lowest of the low. Even reflecting back on it now to make this video puts me in a place where I feel quite uncomfortable. But I think that the information that I've gained over the last 2 years since that day, and the fact that I handled things totally wrong when I was in that position, give me a good stage to stand on and help you guys out if you're going through it right now. The first few days were horrific. In fact, I smoked a lot. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I wasn't actually smoking at the time, but I was a smoker in the past. And I went to the shop and I bought a bunch of cigarettes and I just sat there chaining. Thinking back on it now, it's very hard to think. It's quite painful. My mind was on a mental loop, thinking what happened? Why did it happen? Where are they? Where are my kids? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Looking through old photographs, looking through old mails, just trying to hang on to something to help me get through. It's a type of trauma and it affects your whole body physically and it affects your whole mind mentally. So at that point, there's only two things you have to do. Get as much rest as possible, even though you can't sleep. Rest is rest. Focus on waking up in the morning and getting through your day, the jobs you need to do, coming home, eating and getting rest. It's all about surviving one day at a time. Time will show you the answers. Time will let things come to light. But right now at the beginning, it's so important you just focus on being okay. There's nothing okay about it, I know. But the focus is there to try to just get through each day and survive. If you've got friends, you can call them. And actually, what happens at the beginning, you really do find out who your real friends are. And it's a kind of generalization because some people just aren't good at being there at that kind of time. And I can understand that. It's very difficult to sit on the other end of the phone listening to somebody talking for about an hour or two about the same thing over and over and over again. And even though your friends may want to help, it may just be too difficult for them. But you will find a few friends who will listen to you, who are there for you. And those few are super important. You can thank them later, but for now, you can use them, you can talk. They're there for you to get through those days, to survive. My friends, the people around me, were absolutely amazing. And they really helped me get through the days and survive, even though I was on a mental loop and just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Try to keep yourself to yourself. I know it's very easy to talk to other people you meet as well about your issues, but when I look at some of the messages I sent to people in that first few weeks, even people that just said, "Hey, how's it going? Long time no see." They didn't know anything about my situation, and I would send them the whole situation. And they'd be like, "Wow, that sounds really bad. Let me know if you need anything." And then I look back at it now and I'm almost embarrassed. I had no filter. I had no ability to say, maybe I shouldn't be sending this kind of stuff to these kind of people. And that's something that I would make sure that I would do better. It was a great release for me, to be fair. I was searching for people to be on my side, to help me. And I look back in hindsight and thought I could have maybe handled that a bit better by keeping it a little bit more inside. But it's hard. I know it's really hard, and I did it. And I do regret it to some extent, because a lot of people that didn't really need to know my situation knew about my situation through that. But I will reiterate and say, you're not yourself, you're not thinking yourself. Your brain and your body are going through trauma at that time. So leading from that is, especially if you have kids and you know where they go to school, you have to prevent yourself from going to see them. And I'm going to talk about how you can help your kids to understand in the future, but in that first few weeks, that is not the right time. You might not be able to see it yourself in the mirror, but your whole body is just on the edge, and that intensity, and it can be very corrosive to anybody that sees it. So even though you might think you're okay to go and see your kids, or to go and talk to teachers or something to let them see your kids, you will come across rather abrasive even without knowing it, and they will be on their guard, and it won't do you any favors. So try to think through things slowly. Take a step, journal, try to get those thoughts out by either making vlogs that you don't post publicly, or writing down in a journal, or simply doing yoga. I used the gym a lot, and I went to the gym and I lifted and I ran, and I felt that running was something, even though I wasn't an avid runner, running was something that really cleared my mind. 20 minutes on the treadmill really helped to filter my mind and process things, and I felt a lot better after the gym, and after a nice shower at the gym. The next morning, a lot of the problems were back again, but just rinse and repeat day by day, baby steps, and get through it. The silence is so loud. And the kids' toys mid-play, they can be very traumatic. And from my bedroom, I have to walk past my kids' room before going down the stairs, and to see their kids' toys mid-play was very difficult for me to deal with. Being in the house by myself, which was just 2 weeks ago filled with the sound of kids running around being crazy at each other, was now totally silent, and mentally that was very difficult to deal with. I'm not sure if there is a best solution for this. However, I can just tell you that time does heal. And something that I started to do later on, perhaps at the 6-month mark, 6 months after, 5 months after, I started to tidy up, and I started to square things away. And I started to wash their duvets and their sheets. But up to that point, I wasn't able to. It was too difficult and almost too traumatic. So I ended up just closing the doors, which I felt sad about, because I never wanted to close the doors. During that first month, and again, the first week, I'll reiterate, the first week is just for you to wake up, do your job, come back and get some sleep. Don't overserve on your alcohol. Make sure you're trying to eat correctly. Don't starve yourself. And I know it's very difficult because you don't have the appetite, actually. There's a lot of mental stuff going on, and you're burning a lot of calories. I lost about 15 kilograms in like 3 months, and I was eating. I love cooking, and I was eating, and I was drinking a few glasses of wine. I tried to be careful, and I did go through a phase where I stopped alcohol totally for a few weeks, because I wasn't enjoying the day after. I wasn't enjoying the emotional bounce back of the day after. So I would suggest to take it easy on the alcohol. A few glasses, a few beers, but don't go crazy, and definitely don't go out and get crazy and start shouting at people and causing trouble. You don't want to get in trouble, and you're in a very fragile state at that point. So be aware of that. Journal about it. Talk about it to your friends. When your wife and kids leave the house, your house is kind of left in the living state that it was when you were there as a family. The pain and trauma of not being able to see your kids is the hardest thing, and especially with me knowing that they were going to school very close to me, thinking to myself that they would probably be wondering why I couldn't go and see them. Well, in Japan, certainly you can't go and see them. It's going to end up quite sticky in the end if you go to see them and confront teachers about the situation. The teachers will side with the mother who's probably told them a few things, and you're going to be looked at as an aggressor. So I know it's very difficult. Something that I did was to make video messages to my kids, so that one day when I saw them again, they could watch them back and they could understand what I was going through at that time. In hindsight, now I get to see my kids. I did sit down and explain to them, and one of my kids was very upset that I didn't go and see him, but I explained that I actually could not get into the grounds of his school, and I tried a couple of times. And the reason why I say to be careful in Japan about going to the school is because I went to bring some Halloween candy to my kids, and the teachers made a line and escorted me out of the grounds. And I went back the next day with a lady from the neighborhood to explain, and they were still quite hostile to me. They didn't really want to hear my side of the story or anything. Just to put it in context, there's no DV, no domestic violence, and I had done nothing technically wrong, and still being married, I still have full rights to my kids, but I was not allowed to enter the grounds and see them, even though that the school fees were dropping from my bank account still. So how did I begin to heal in those early days of sitting in the middle of the room staring at the wall for hours on end and not having the energy to even stand up and do basic things you should be doing around the house? Time really does help. There comes a time when you start to get a little bit more energetic, and to be honest, taking walks around the block or going to the gym or just sitting in the gym can help to get your energy levels up. And as I said earlier, on the treadmill, pumping some weights, just walking around the block, anything to get out, some cycling really helps to ease the mind, and slowly over time you start to get a bit more grip on the perspective of things. At the beginning, the world is over. I'm totally with you. The world is over and you feel like that there's absolutely nothing you can do and it can't get any worse. Well, I'll promise you one thing, it can get worse, but it does get better too. Just be careful, don't make it worse by doing anything rash or acting on instinct. Hold yourself back, keep yourself in your house, talk to your friends, reach out to friends, make sure you're not totally alone. Don't put yourself in front of a lot of people where you can get triggered and do some crazy shit that's going to get you in trouble. So I explained to my kids, and I showed them the videos, and I explained to my kids what was going on in those first few months. Only time will tell the potential damage that this whole thing has on my kids, and I'm particularly worried about it. As a person that was brought up in a single parent family, I feel that there are parts of my personality and my identity and my upbringing that are missing because I didn't have a father. So I worry about those things, of course, and my identity of being half Japanese and living in Japan. Even if I was living in England, I think my identity and not knowing my father really has an effect on me in some parts of my life. Watching YouTube videos is a great way to keep you out of trouble because it keeps you at home and then you're just watching the videos, making sure you're getting good food or as best as you can muster up at that time. Don't drink too much alcohol. Some people say quit alcohol totally, and I would actually recommend that because what happens after a big drinking session is the morning after you're full of the alcohol blues, the emotions, and that's the time when it's really hard to deal with, I find. And so just control the alcohol, cut the alcohol. Try to go out and get some exercise to bring up your motivation a little bit more. Watch YouTube motivational videos or videos about breakups, videos like this channel. Subscribe please, and like this video. It will help to give you a perspective, and it will also make you understand that you're not alone. Times like this can feel very lonely and you could feel like you are alone. But trust me, there's a lot of guys, a lot of ladies as well going through this kind of thing. You're not alone, and by reaching out or by going out and finding some videos or finding some web pages or finding some courses that you can take, these are really going to help you see the perspective and help you gain a lot of information that can really help you do the best. I'm specifically not really trying to talk about court and stuff in this video. I really want to focus on that mental and physical step that you need to take from being totally crushed to your first few steps, getting back into the norm of life. They say that divorce recovery takes about 2 years, and that can change depending on how bad it is or how long and aggressive the court process is. But I'm 2.5 years after, and I still feel it's not right. I'm still obviously very worried about the future, but I feel much better. And I felt that this is the time to start this channel where I could help you guys who are in the same situation that I was in a couple of years ago to possibly see some light, to hear a friendly voice, to know that there's somebody here who's been through it as well, somebody that you can reach out to. If you want, drop a comment below and tell me about your situation, and I'll do my best to help you through it if I can. Those dark days are terrible, and don't put yourself down. You're not weak, you're in shock. Just let your body deal with it slowly over the first few weeks, and then start step by step, baby steps, rebuilding. And rebuilding is a long process. It's not going to happen overnight, so don't push yourself too hard. Pat yourself on the back sometimes to say, hey, I made small progress today, and that's much better. Don't give up. Just keep trying to move forwards and keep trying to do your journals, do your videos, go to the gym, hold on to that alcohol level, make sure it's not going too high. Get out, see your friends, try new activities, join new clubs, meet new people. And I promise you, you will meet new people and there will be happiness and you will get through this. You've got this. So if this story today has touched you and you feel close, please subscribe the channel. There's going to be a lot more videos like this and also videos talking about divorce in general and divorce here in Japan. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.